Thank you. Start the clock. The next question, the member for Kiwetinoong.
Mr. Speaker, my question this morning is for the Premier. Recently, there was a devastating fire in the community of Kitchener-Inuit, also known as Big Trout Lake. 5 community members died in this fire. A mother and 4 of her children, all under the age of 13. Chief Donnie Morris has issued a declaration of emergency because of the fire's impacts on the community. Using Jordan's principle, will the government help the youth, community's youth who are most affected by the fire and need mental health supports? Miigwech.
The questions to the Premier.
Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Energy, Northern Development and Mines.
To the Minister of Indigenous Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I share, I know on behalf of my colleagues, our deepest condolences with the victim's family and indeed the community of Kitchener-Inuit. I had a chance to speak to Chief Donnie Morris, a person I've known for a great number of years. We pledged our support not just in the immediacy of the investigation by the coroner and various other urgent supports, but to continue to provide any supports that he requested. He said that he would be in touch with me as those needs arose, and I pledged additional support for mental health services as they would be required. It was a good conversation under a difficult set of circumstances, and we remain committed to supporting that community during this difficult time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Back to the Premier. The fire in Big Trout Lake is the latest to claim lives in a First Nation. Fires in Pikanchikam, Mashkigogamang, and Wanaman Lake also had very tragic outcomes. First Nation residents are 10 times more likely to die in a house fire than the rest of Canada. It's not good enough to just to feel bad. It's not good enough. It's not enough to just to have those moments of silence. There are actions that could be taken to make events like this less likely, so it doesn't happen again. Will the government commit to working with First Nations to improve fire safety in our communities?
Minister. Ask the members to take their seats. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to recognize my colleague, the Minister of Children and Youth Services, who spoke about Jordan's principle at the House of Commons last week. The member opposite is right. It is more than just about moments of silence and action. It's more about action, Mr. Speaker. That's why we responded to this fire very quickly, reached out to the chief. In fact, resources from the Government of Ontario were mobilized immediately. The chief acknowledged that, and we remain committed to supporting the community. We'll take our cue from the leadership of that community in terms of what additional support will be required, and it will be there, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.